Dan Thompson pulled up his chair, and he's with us this morning. Thank you, Dan.
I fixed it. I don't know what sort.
These chairs are so difficult to move up and down. It just looks so funny with you sitting there all little, and here we are, me at my 5'2" stature, towering over you.
Someone was apparently extremely tall that's sitting here like that.
Well, Apple unveiled 2 new iPhones as well as this new smartwatch that people are really excited about. The launch was great. Tim Cook did a good job, didn't you think?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. The whole team. Schiller spent a lot of time on stage yesterday as well. He did a wonderful job. So probably the most hyped Apple event that we've seen in a couple of years anyway. It's at a bigger venue than they typically have, more people there obviously. So lots of cool things to talk about. Of course, they didn't disappoint. They delivered, as you said, 2 new iPhones. They delivered a new payment system, which was pretty interesting. And then as well as the iWatch, which turns out is called the Apple Watch.
Let's talk first about the phones, the new phones.
Yes, so there's 2 different phones now. They've actually jumped into the market of, we've got 2 different sizes. So there's the Apple iPhone 6 and the 6 Plus. The big differentiator between the 2 phones, of course, is screen size. The 6 has a 4.7-inch screen. The 6 Plus has a 5.5-inch screen, which is a monstrous phone. It ranks up there as one of the bigger phones on the market today. So now you kind of have your pick. Which one do you want? Do you want a really big one, or do you want just kind of a normal-sized one?
It's huge, and and I've seen these dubbed the phablets.
The phablets,
the
yes.
phone tablets.
Oh, that's a good.
Yeah, because it's almost like, I mean, they're getting close. I mean, if the phones get too much bigger, I mean, they're well into the tablet range now, like especially the mini ones. So, yeah, it's interesting to see when do we stop.
About 1.5 inches smaller than the iPad Mini.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Which is, that doesn't sound like much, but when you're comparing them, I mean, it's a difference. But if you could imagine holding an iPad Mini up to your face,
right.
ridiculous.
Well, I find that I don't make many actual phone calls on my phone.
Yeah.
I'm mostly texting and doing social media and looking on the internet. So I think that's where the bigger screen really is appealing.
And I think that's a pretty common shift. I think it's easier for people to text. Our generation seems to text more, or tweet more, or send Facebook messages or whatever. It's a quicker than calling. Maybe that's not a good thing. I don't know, but it is what it is.
Right.
It seems like when these things are launched here lately, with the iPhone especially, the last launch was like, boring. Most people were wanting more.
Yeah.
It's just a few little changes, just a few little upgrades to the phone.
That's right.
And that's, we have to wait for more, I guess, the next launch.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there was nothing radically new about the iPhones except for the size difference. You got longer battery life, you got a slightly better camera. There's little nuanced things, but they didn't spend a lot of time talking about, oh my gosh, look how beautiful it is, look how fast it is. I mean, they did spend time talking about those things, but they didn't spend nearly as much time as they used to. Also, they didn't spend a lot of time talking about how well the company is doing, which I thought was interesting. They always go on and on about how many phone sales they've had, the tablet sales. They didn't talk about that at all. Tim Cook just said, hey, we're doing fine.
Yeah.
Let's jump right in.
That was funny.
Yeah, it was interesting. Lots of people were kind of trying to read things into that. I don't know if we should or not, but interesting nonetheless.
They got to the point.
Yeah. What about this new pay system?
Yes.
Apple Pay?
Yeah, so Apple Pay, this works off NFC technology, which might not mean a lot to most people, but if you've been to McDonald's in the last several years, or the whole new pay at the pump thing where you can just hold your card up to the gas pump or up to the little credit card terminal, so that's the technology we're talking about. So now what you'll be able to do is use your iPhone or your Apple Watch, and you basically just hold it up or tap it to the terminal, and it'll make your credit card payment for you, which is really interesting technology. It's actually been out for a while in the Android market, but now Apple has it. What's going to be interesting is to see if people use it. Most of the comments yesterday was, hey, I've had this on my Android for years now, and I've never used it. What's also interesting is how are they going to secure it? The guys yesterday just made passing comments about that it was perfectly secure. Of course, they never really dive into specs at these events anyway, but it'll be interesting to see, is it backed up to iCloud? If so, we have the same problem on our hand that the celebrities did that we talked about 2 weeks ago. So lots of interesting conversations that need to happen there. I wouldn't jump too quickly into that one until they've done some reassuring and proving that we're taking care of your credit cards, we've done it to standard, and we're not backing it up to the cloud.
Okay, Dan, we've got to talk. We've only got a minute left. We've got to talk about the smartwatch.
Yes.
This thing I thought was pretty cool, but then again, I don't know much about smartwatches.
So can I ask, what did you think was cool about it?
Well, the screen.
Yeah,
and the look. I like the look of it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they went well out of their way to make really nice looking bands. The device itself is a nice looking smartwatch. I personally like the Moto 360 a little bit better, but it does have a nice look to it, and the the bands are what really blew me away. I mean, there's many different options. They have a ladies option, they have a more masculine option, so lots to choose from. What'll be interesting, what they didn't really talk about much yesterday, was how much you have to have the phone around for the functionality of the watch to work. They did mention you do have to have an iPhone for it to work.
Does it need to be with you?
Well, that's a great question. We didn't get that answered. There are lots of sensors in the phone or in the watch itself, which was, I mean, that in of itself was an amazing delivery. How many sensors are actually in the watch?
That tiny little watch.
That's right. That's right. So that in itself is really cool, but we don't know, what do I need my phone for? How far away can I be from my phone and it still be functional? All that stuff we'll learn in the coming weeks, I'm sure. It was interesting yesterday at the demo, they wouldn't let anybody touch the watch. It was just sitting there spinning on a little post. So it'll be fun to see, what comes up. Maybe they weren't ready yet. I don't know. They're saying that those will launch early next year, which is the longest timeline we've ever had from Apple as well.
Between announcement and launch.
That's right.
What about the price on the watch?
The price on the watch is going to be $350, which is $100 more than their closest competitor. But Apple has never been known to really price compete on their devices.
That is true.
So that's probably normal.
That doesn't seem to be their main worry.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
If you want it, you will buy it.
Yeah, their marketing engine is really, really good at what they do.
Will we see you sporting a neon green Apple watch?
I don't think so. No, probably not one at all.
He's not the Apple cheerleader that many are.
That's right.
Dan, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, we will be right back after this.